Here's the line, my friend. If you are running a business, if you think the more you do, the more you will get, that's completely wrong, because we were programmed in a poor mindset. How to gain as many clients that you cannot even handle. Wow, I believe that is a dream world for many people. Have you ever experienced that it's so painful for you to look for leads and clients, and after you contacted with all the people that you know in your life, then you start to be like, oh, what should I do now? Are you struggling with the pain that it seems like you never have enough time to make sales, and you always are running in the business, not on the business? You still have sales closed every now and then, but it just feels like you never have enough time for yourself or for your family. Or maybe you believe that you can do so much more. While you're looking at people around you, they are doing less work, but they're getting more clients and they're more wealthy than you. You don't understand why. Maybe you're thinking, these guys are just lucky. That was me. When I started this business, I started with dream. I was so passionate. I had this dream sowing the seed. At the first year when I started the business, at the beginning, I was full of passion. Nothing could stop me. Of course, I started to reach out to people that I've known. The first 10 clients wasn't hard because they all knew me. I had great reputation. They said, yes, I'm coming. So the first 10 founding members, it was kind of like easy. But when it gets to the 30s bottleneck, it becomes so tricky that I start to doubt, hang on a minute, why is it so hard to get clients? I was so good at sales, and back then I worked for small, medium, and large size freight forwarding companies. I helped them to win millions to billions of dollars new business by handling the relationship with clients, and I was so good at persuasion and all this kind of stuff. But it's not enough for me. As an entrepreneur, it was new to me. One thing, I worked for someone. I always thought I was the one who could make things happen. The other hand, when I started this business, I was a startup and everything for me became new. I remember that it was 1.5 years I started my business. One day I finally agreed with my kids and my family that I went on a trip with them. That hit me badly because my body was there with them, but I could not stop checking my phone. I was so busy. I was worried about my team. My team had so many questions asking me, and I was like, this isn't what I wanted. And that really hit me a big time, because here's the thing, if you are running a holiday but you're running a business, you're not getting yourself into the holiday mood, and you cannot be 100% present to your family. And in the same time, because you are not running the business 100% at that moment, your business is also going to suffer and your team is going to suffer as well. And the worst is that myself, I was suffering back then. And I said to myself, this is not what I wanted. I love what I do. I love my clients, but why is this happening? Then I started to look for all the solutions. What's going on? What happened here? I was so good at handling all the business before. I was the best right hand for all the CEOs. Why, when it came to my business, it became so hard? I even started to scream one day in the car when I had to deal with the IT stuff. I didn't enjoy it at all. It was so painful. So that's what I did. After that, I started to look for solutions. I started to buy a lot of books. Honestly, before that, I said I love reading, but throughout my journey being a mom, I stopped reading for a very long time. And reading becomes a big burden for me and pressure, because I don't believe that I could even spend 1 minute sitting there just read the book. However, because the pain was so big, I start to look for solutions, and reading has become one of the best solutions that I've got. I start to look for all the best-selling books. I start to look for the videos online on YouTube and finding the reason, the solutions, what's going on. I also participate in lots of webinars, and I start to understand more about what's happening there. And magically, I learned so much from the top performers in the world. Many people who are coaches and who are great marketers, marketing guys, and they are billionaires. I start to study what are they doing? Why they're so rich? What's going on here? What's the thing that I did wrong? 3 months passed. I start to find more solutions in my business. I start to pause rather than just keep running around and just thinking the more I do, the more I'll get. Here's the line, my friend. If you are running a business, if you think the more you do, the more you will get, that's completely wrong, because we were programmed in a poor mindset that because when we were younger, particularly as Asian, I was born in China, and in the culture, we were always taught to be work harder, you will get more. That's not completely the case. I will explain to you by using an example. Here's the example. So you can choose either labor, which is work harder and more, or you can choose leverage. It took me so much time and so long to learn this. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you, the story, is because I thought I've known many things, but I didn't. And I've learned so much to break the mindset. That's why today I'm going to share with you, starting with the mindset. Why? Because if you pay a program, whether it's a millionaire program or you pay millions or billions of dollars to attend something, if you don't believe that you can do it, everything else is secondary. It won't happen. So the one thing we need to conquer is always the mindset. And funny enough, it takes a long time for people to break through here before you break through something else. Once the breakthrough happens from your mind, everything else becomes so much easier. Before I share with you all these secrets, you may ask me, Christy, why should I listen to you? And this is why 3 years after being on the business, I have learned so much, and only through these years, I have got recognized by many global CEOs. I've owned a network called Signature Global Network. We covered 80 plus countries with 160 global members. And I've also been coaching global CEOs who are 20 to 30 years older than me. And also, I have become 5 times best-selling author. I've helped more than 10 global CEOs to become best-selling authors, and they never had any experience to write a book before. There's a new book coming up very soon. I now can go and speak at global stage. I'm invited by many different organizations to have the opportunities to share my stories and to share my insight as well. And the best part is I can now go to my kids' school, drop them off, pick them up, and I never miss those golden moments. I can cheer them up when they got awards. I can always be around when there's a game that they're playing, and I'm so happy because it's not easy, but I've made it. My story has touched many people, but this is what I want to tell you, my friend. If I can do it, so can you. I am not smarter than you. I was just determined to fulfill my dreams, my goals, and I did not give up. Instead of keep dwelling in the wrong way, keep working more, I paused, I reflect, and I reviewed and replanned. And the most but not the least is I have to kill all my egos, because before I need to learn something new and embrace the things that's working, I had to deny things that I was doing wasn't working. It hurts. So the things I'm going to share with you requires thousands of hours of study, reading, and watching all these videos on YouTube, and of course, applying into my own business experiences and through my coaching with global CEOs. And all these things, you might need to pay millions of dollars to learn all of this stuff. But I guarantee you, stay with me. At the end of the video, you will get a lot of things take away from this video. And one biggest mistake is I have failed to close deals which is worth millions of dollars. And I wish I have learned all of these things earlier, then I've already been 10 times richer than where I am today. And today I am rich. When I say rich, I'm wealthy. I have enough things. I also can contribute, but this is not the key. The key is I'm wealthy in my mind and I can help more people to become wealthy, and that is my goal. Coming back to the topic, how can we get so many people to buy so that we cannot even handle so many people? And here's the thing, I hated it so much to chase clients because I experienced it. When I started this company, I had to make sure I paid my staff, I paid everything for the company, and that stress, anxiety, and fear was real. And until I realized and figured out how to solve all of these things, that's why I'm gonna conclude 2 different frameworks and steps in this video. If you like this video, remember you can jump into the webinar session so that you can jump to the masterclass with me. I can deep dive and tell you all the secrets through the masterclass. I want to start with the mindset as I shared earlier. The labor or leverage all start with mindset. And I shared that story many times, and I need to give credit to Myron Golden. He's such an amazing business teacher, and he shared this story. I think it's really funny. He said, okay, if I race you, because he's not very good at running, he actually couldn't run. He said, if I race you, he says, I can't win unless I ride a bike. But that's not fair. Then the other guy will say, I'm gonna ride a bike. He said, that's fine. I'm gonna ride a motorcycle. And then that guy said, I want a motorcycle. That would be a fair match. And he said, no, then I'm gonna drive a car. And then after car, they said, okay, then we're gonna change to airplane and then jet and the rocket, right? It can be any better ways. But the reason why Myron Golden shared this story and I wanna share with you is because through the story, I understand that number one thing, the world is never fair. If you think the world is fair, you always think you need to work harder to get paid more. But if that's the case, then that means the labor, right? We talk about labor. They can just be a cleaner, but they're not getting paid more even if they work another 20 hours. And that's coming to the story. If you keep running and running and running, the best you can do is just to change your runners. You're still running, but others are already riding the jet. They are 1,000 times faster than you. And this is the same thing applying to our business life, our mindset. If you don't understand, here's the thing. If this is your mind, just showing something funny here, you understand. Let's get rid of that. So this is your mind. Your mind is the one giving signal to yourself, and then which is your heart, right? Your heart is where you subconscious mind. And subconsciously, because most of us, I should say every one of us, making decisions based on our feelings, emotions. So your mind is telling your heart, this is not possible, right? So what we do is once your mind gives a signal to your heart then back to your brain say, hey, not possible. So you lose the intention, you're gonna give up, say, nah, I'm not gonna do it. And what will happen is you will even block all the possibilities because your mind is not even going to look for solutions because it's not possible. That's why next thing, if you believe that's going to happen, you will at least try to say, oh, okay, if that's true, I'll try. Well, when you say try, that's another tricky word. When you say try, usually you won't do your best because when you say try, your brain's receiving that as, okay, I can fail. I'll just try. Here's the problem. Our potential is way bigger than what we think we can. That is why if you know Grant Cardone, who is a billionaire, I learned the marketing from him. I paid everything. And as I mentioned earlier, I attended lots of top performers in the world, what they were teaching and everything. But back to him, he shared about 10 times, right? He said 10x, 10x, everything. And that's true because what the book I've read recently, the scientific research shows that there's a 40% rule. What is 40% rule? Is we always think that we already reached to the highest potential, but in fact, every time when you have that thought, you're only 40% of your potential. It's like when you're doing an exercise, like, oh, this is too much, I can't go anymore. If you push a little bit harder, little bit harder, little bit harder, you have way more potential coming through. And that's why I'm saying, if your brain's telling you you're gonna try, you won't get there. On the opposite, if you say, I will do it, I can do it, your mindset saying that, I won't give up, and then it will tell your brain, we'll keep going, keep trying, and then it will then tell yourself, gonna apply to your action. Everything you're doing will determine your direction when you move, right? Because your mind determines your movement. And in mindset, going this way, I'll go this way. So your destination will go this way or that way. Either you want to go, you try, or you won't even try at all, or you can go the other way. I will do it. I can do it. And usually that is the difference between those who are successful and not. Because everything is reachable nowadays. Technology, you can just get things so quickly, so easily. Then why there's still so many people, they are not doing very well? It's because they thought they've done their best. They thought that they tried their best, but their mindset is blocking, and they didn't even know this blocking, and they didn't even admit that it's blocking because the ego is controlling them. If they admit that they're wrong, it looks like it makes them look bad. And that was me long time ago. And I'm here to remind you, if that's you, don't worry about the ego. No matter what others think about you, no matter what they talk about you, judge about you, it doesn't change who you are. But one thing it will change is who you think you are. It will change who you are because you will behave as who you believe you are. Okay, now coming back to how you're gonna get the clients. If you believe you can get more clients, if you believe that you can do this, and if I can do it, if so many people can do it, so can you. I want to share with you how crazy nowadays people are earning $1 million per day, some of them even per hour, and they're actually still going to the beach, they're doing what they want to do, they play golf. What's going on there? And people will be like, they're just rich guys, they're arrogant, they're not paying any efforts, they're not making efforts for their life, these are lazy people. And when you say that, please stop. Because here's the thing, they had made so much efforts to get where they are now. And we don't want to go through that path, but when we can't get there, we start to judge people because that will make our ego happier, but it doesn't make our life really happier because our life reality will not change until we change. I want to share with you 3 things how to improve your leads, of course, and you get more clients on the radar. The number 1 thing is positioning. So positioning is pretty much branding. If someone asks you, can you tell me in 1 minute what you do? I was asked by that question for many times and I couldn't answer in 1 minute. And I was like, I do this. I can say a lot of things, but I got lost and they would not remember what I do. That is why positioning is so important, because if you have a brand that it looks exactly the same as others' brands, you will get lost. Nobody's gonna remember you. It's like, imagine you're walking on the street. Everybody looks exactly the same. And then when you talk to that person, the way they talk is exactly the same. Why should they consider you? Why should they remember you? And that happens to many businesses, particularly in the logistics industry. I know so many CEOs, and when you go to this global conference, they're sitting there, they're talking about what you do. And every time they're so proud, say, oh, wow, I am logistics freight forwarding company. We can do anything. We can deliver anything. Our price is the best. Our rate, everything's the best. We can get space. That's it. Isn't that familiar? Everybody's talking the same way. Number one, you lose your credibility because nobody can do anything. Even if you can, you might not be an expert. And secondly, people won't really trust you much when you say that. And lastly, they won't even remember because you're just like exactly like the other people who are talking the same thing when you sit together. There's no authenticity, there's no uniqueness. That is why positioning is super important. Applying to my business when I started SGN Network, I had to do so much research. I need to ask people questions. I need to go to the website of all the other networks are doing, because I used to attending those networking conferences. I need to write down all the things that they did well, the things that didn't do well, how can it be so different so that we can stand out. As time goes by, we finally find out our position. We are pretty much a network that combines global leaders in the industry, and we do a lot of legacy stuff like helping them write books, and we're also giving them opportunities to share their insights, to speak, to share the stories, and also we help them to create systems that can generate leads. That is something not any other networks is doing. Networks are just charging money, and of course they run conferences. And that's how we position ourselves. That helps our business to stand higher in the market because we don't have to always compete with price. If you compete with price, you will never win. You will always lose, and both will lose. Why? Because there is a famous saying in the business world, those who don't pay, they won't stay. I already said on the second one is publicity. Because pretty much publishing is going public. Publicity is important, and in other words, you should have social proof. If you want to generate leads and you just say you are good at this, you're good at that, do you think people will trust you? They don't know you. They have no idea who you are, which is why when it comes to publicity, social media, and I'm really thankful for the clients that I worked with. I don't share testimonials about them unless they share it in public. And when they share in public, I'm very happy. My team would just caption that and put on the testimonial and stuff. But that's very important because it's like imagining when you are going to buy something and you just go to the shop and you compare with two shops, right? One shop has the review 5-star reviews and there's people saying a lot of comments, a lot of social proof and everything. Maybe, even if it's not all 5 stars, some are 4.5, some are even 3, but there's a lot of people comments, right? The other one has nothing. They just put a 5-star over there and that's it. Which one are you going to believe? I'm going to believe in the one who has so many comments because that looks more real to me. They don't have to be 5-star, but if they have people they're working with, they have experience, it's way safer working with them than with those. I mean, when I say restaurant, I don't go there working with them. But an example, right? Working with a company who has publicity is way safer than those you don't even know who they are, what they're doing at all. So here you are, you got the 3 P's for the secret to get leads and so that you can handle as many as possible. However, this sounds easy, but it's not. It is simple, but it's not easy. That's why we create systems to help people to generate leads. When you're sleeping, when you're doing whatever you do, you can have people just reaching out to you. It's a lot of work, but we have experienced staff and I have learned so much that I know I need to serve and help more people so that they don't have to suffer what I suffered before. Stay tuned with the next video. We're going to talk about related to sales and all these amazing secrets that it will help you to improve your business and of course to get more leads and more closing deals. And I can't wait to talk to you then. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this video, share with someone to help more people. And I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Bye for now.